I think the thing for me is trust. So before we went into investing in property, I did a fair bit of research and spoke to a number of people. And what I found was that in a lot of cases, people were trying to sell you something. So they were either associated with properties that they were trying to sell, or they only had knowledge within a really small area. So I trusted Advisable because Kate invested like we wanted to invest and cared about us and was selling a service rather than a property. We're two full-time working parents and we live in Sydney. We've got 2 kids, both in primary school. They're pretty keen on activities outside of school, so we're busy. We volunteer also with Scouts.
So we both have really good jobs, quite stable jobs. We've always enjoyed that for our entire careers. We've been quite stable in that respect. But we did need to think about where we're going to be later in life, and we recognise that probably the government pension isn't going to give us the support we need. So we chose to start looking at other options for investing. We looked at shares, we looked at property and a few other options.
I think it's also because we're older parents, and these days kids are staying a lot longer with their families. We also wanted a form of sort of passive income when we're older, though we enjoy our jobs. Boss, if you're watching. As we got older, I was hoping to probably go part-time so I could spend more time with kids and do things that I enjoy outside work.
Yeah. And we do have a wonderful lifestyle, and it's something we wanted to continue as well. So those are opportunities for more travel and having a nice lifestyle to spend time with family and friends and go out for dinners and things like that. We didn't want to lose that.
I think we decided to use a buyer's agent because we had bought an investment property before ourselves, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of research to do that. And as we mentioned before, we're time poor, so we were really looking for the expertise and the assistance.
Yeah, as Lou said, it takes a lot of effort and knowledge and expertise really to be able to dig down into area-specific research and actually find that property within amongst a broader geographic area, and to get the right property in the right area, the right street, I suppose. So having that expertise was really important to us, and we just didn't have the time to develop the expertise or invest in the locations. Yeah. So we met Kate at Advisable, and we're really reassured by her knowledge of the industry and her expertise across the property framework, if you like, all components and steps of the process about finding a property and all the purchasing steps and right through to the settlement. So we found that really reassuring that somebody knew that, and not just within New South Wales, across the country really. And we've now taken that experience and used that expertise on purchasing across 3 states. So we've really valued that skill and understanding about the way property is managed across different states as well. So that was something very important to us.
I think the other thing that we found really useful, being a busy family, is that Kate actually travelled around Australia to different locations and investigated, looked at the best streets, found really good agents and looked at various properties. So that service was fantastic.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is too is don't get taken over by cheap imitations. What we've valued is that Kate's been in the industry for quite a long time, and you develop that experience by being there for a long time. So I'd caution people to go into agents that have only been around for a short time. There's a lot to learn, a lot to understand, and a lot of experience to apply to doing this, the role of a buyer's agent effectively.
And I think it's really valuable having somebody who's in the business, who's buying properties themselves, and also can give advice from experience. So when we've bought properties or we've got any issues, we can always go back to Advisable and ask for advice because they've been there, done that, and it's not just a once-off where you buy a property and then they say goodbye. They're actually there to support you through the longer term.
I'd also add that Advisable travelling interstate to go or to any area for purchasing allowed us as a client then to get the right advice from the whole process from the start to the finish. So looking interstate, it was difficult to understand who a good pest and building consultant might be, or a good conveyancer. And Advisable, being investing their time into those areas, has been able to give us very good leads on that and actually manage the process for us. So again, a time saver, and also quality, gave us quality. Okay, so after our initial contact with Advisable, with Kate, we spent a bit of time working out what our objectives were in terms of the purchase, and developing a very comprehensive client brief that really outlined what our circumstances are, financial position, and the sort of properties that might suit those requirements, and sort of what objectives we had for cash flow, whether we were looking at positive or negative gearing. So that was done right up front, so we all knew where we were seeking to go with the purchasing, and that then led us into then understanding which areas we might start to look at. And again, we just considered what properties we already had in our portfolio, which were limited initially, but then expanded over time. And we were able to then see what sort of diversification we'd like, and then using Advisable's experience, we were able to hone in on given areas and areas within areas, and then streets within areas, to actually work out where somewhere might be most suitable.
Yeah, and I think the information on the properties that Advisable were looking at was excellent. You could see what the property looked like, the pros and cons, and so we could look at the choices. And what could have been quite a stressful experience, because you're investing a lot of money, we felt very comfortable and reassured, and dare I say it was actually fun. Kate was nearly as excited as us when we were about to purchase, and also doing the negotiation can be extremely stressful, and if you're not experienced, you don't necessarily get the best outcome, or you can get emotionally involved. And it was really useful having Advisable's experience in that negotiation process.
There was no vested interests. It was all very honest discussions about our position and our objectives, and we felt very comfortable right through the process, because we knew there was no sort of deals behind the scenes. So that was something we really valued as well. Yeah.
And enough for us to come back multiple times. So really happy with the service.
Yeah, and it is important to note that whilst you pay a fee, overall it's a very small component of your overall purchasing, and if you're purchasing in the right spot, then that fee has been paid back 100 times over. So investing in a place and making it a bad investment is worse than paying the small fee up front for the right expertise.